Welcome to part 2 of my easy mode Necro Army Leveling Guide for real beginners of Path of Exile and Sentinel League 3.18. If you have not watched part 1 yet, I highly recommend that you do that, as it sets the scene, honestly it does, explains what this guide is, what it isn't, and I just don't want to repeat myself, okay? So please go watch it first. And let's keep leveling our Necro Witch. At level 27, you dive into the sewers after saving Tolman at the end of part 1. Find the golden busts in the sewers for an extra very easy skill point and emerge at the marketplace. There will be a chest with an exclamation mark of a quest to help the dead pirate captain who you met earlier, but I suggest that you skip it, because it doesn't give you any good rewards and it only wastes your time. Alternatively, if you are a completionist and if you are not in a rush and want to explore all storylines, etc., go for it. You are killing extra mobs for experience anyway, so you can't go particularly wrong here. At level 28-ish, find Ribbon's Pool, close to the waypoint at the battlefront, and then enter the docks and find Thaumatic Sulfite. Don't leave the zone without it. Depending on if you have decided to help the pirate captain, stay in the zone in the docks until you have found a waypoint and him chained to the ship. He will need Decanter Spiritus from the marketplace, that chest that we have skipped. And I've personally, again, didn't find any value in doing that. It's not a particularly exciting quest chain anyway. It will save you some time not doing it. Once you have gotten all the ingredients necessary to burn the undying blockage in the sewers that you have found earlier, I hope you have taken a waypoint there, get through to General Gravicius, kill him and get back to Sarn for your rewards. You should be around level 30 now. I would personally take time to experiment now, and that depends if you have access to any uniques in the game. Either you have found the right ones, or you have decided to start purchasing some from the community market. There is nothing wrong with that. There is a guide on how to do that on my channel. In case you're completely unfamiliar with the process, please take a look at it. It will open a completely new angle to the game for you if you haven't done it before. So you could buy a cheap and cheerful item on the market if you want to, of course. Mark of the Red Covenant. It's a circlet, it's a headdress basically, boosting raging spirits, massively boosting them, but reducing their numbers down to 5. I would dare say that at least at this early towards mid-game, it is actually a lot of fun to use the Mark of the Red Covenant, and I highly recommend it. Or just skip it and get on to the next leveling point. After killing Gravicius, get Raise Spectre gem and go back to Riverways to find some of those big apes running around there. They're called Stygian Silverback. So when you kill them, you kill that big ape, you then press A, default keybind is A, which allows you to target corpses on the ground, and you target the Stygian Silverback and you raise a spectre from it. It is a very awesome spectre because it boosts your minions. It throws frenzy charges on them, those green little circling dots. Around level 32, go towards Righteous Army and Redemption, notable skills in the passive skill tree, skipping further mana reservation mastery for now. We will come back to it soon, while we are not running too many auras anyway. You will keep progressing through Imperial Gardens, through Scepter of God, and then you will fight the boss at the top of it, Dominus. Around level 33-34, I would say, I suggest you do the first Labyrinth of Ascendancy, and you ascend obviously as Necromancer, and your first point that you're going to take is Mindless Aggression. It is pretty easy to understand why it's so good for boosting pretty much every stat of a Necromancer, of a Summoner. It's really great. You continue going on and you will get to Highgate. So this is where you will enter Act 4. So this is roughly where Act 4 starts. You will unlock the mine's entrance by finding Deshret's banner and then freeing her spirit in the mines once you find her for another skill point. It's a very generous period of time when you will be getting a lot of those extra skill points along the way. Around this time you will get a quest reward, which might have been unlocking the mines. If I'm not mistaken, it is the Carrion Golem. So you will get a quest reward for that. So you would get golems, selection of golems. As a Necromancer, I suppose in this particular build I recommend Carrion Golem to put it into your gear if you have slots free. Carrion Golems are awesome, they're fun to watch, they're fun to actually just add to your army, and they boost your other minions, which is great. Around level 37 you will take the Notable Point Redemption, finishing that minion-based semicircle, if you like, of notables on the left-hand side of the skill tree. Now is the time to invest a little more into our own survivability, I would say, as our minions should be pretty solid for maybe the next 10 levels for now, I would say. Now you will go through Calm's Fortress and Daresso's Dream, which happens to be my favorite map in the game, by the way, as I love Roman Colosseum theme, to get the paths required to breach into the pretty gross harvest. You fight Piety, then team up with her to take on the final boss of this act, Malachai the Nightmare. This fight is a walk in the park for a minion summoner build, by the way. Receive thanks from all the peeps at Highgate and exit through the icy peaks to the teleporter that will take you to Slave Pens. This is where Act 5 starts. Fight through the slave pens, kill the mini-boss close to the exit of the map, and don't rush too far ahead because they will throw you a ladder from the top, which will create an exit from this map, and you will enter Overseer's Tower. So level 41, 42, you would be battling through control blocks. You will help Velenta finding her Maya's meter, and kill Justica, who is guarding the exit, and take his eyes. Yes, that's gross. And you will exit to Arrive Square. Around level 43, 44, you will battle through Arrive Square towards Templar Courts. You will fight through massive hordes of mobs there. I usually don't like maps that are indoors, but this one I actually don't mind, and I think you can get a lot of, you can rake experience really by just going through Templar Courts, through those corridors, and you then fight your way towards Chamber of Innocence. You should arrive there around level 45, find High Templar Avarius and kill him. It's a long and slightly annoying fight due to phasing, due to phases. It reaches a certain amount of health and then it shifts to a different phase and you can't finish him off. That's annoying, as otherwise your minions would eat this boss for breakfast, I think, within like 30 seconds flat. Don't stand in the beam. Watch out for his beam, is all I can say to you here. This frees very lovely god Kitava. I'm kidding, there is anything but lovely about him, and sets the whole world of fire, basically. You now meet a new friend Bannon and make your way back to the ruined square through torched courts. Once you find the waypoint, go back to town, turn in the quest. Rewards are not particularly important at this stage, at least not for this build. You will get 3 objectives in total for the square, to go back to the square and finish them off, to kill Utula, to find Kitava's Torments, which is a very important one, and search Ossuary for the Sign of Purity. You do the other 2, then the Sign of Purity, which will send you off to fight Kitava and wrap up this act. Around level 46, and probably before we fight Kitava, I start worrying about resistances a little bit and try and optimize defensive auras a tiny bit as well. We've taken mana reservation efficiency notable skill point called Sovereignty, but didn't take the Mastery in the middle of that cluster because there wasn't much need for it. Well, this is when I go back and take it to get some extra mana back and maybe rebalance our auras a little bit to squeeze in Purity of Elements, because our elemental resistances would be really low right now, and after we fight Kitava we're gonna lose 30% of those. Yes, spoiler alert. Instead of the energy shield, possibly, because we are not boosting energy shield in this build anyway particularly. It was just a nice temporary cushion that we relied on, but now it's time to make priority calls as elemental damage is ramping up. Around level 47, at least it was for me, fight through the cathedral rooftop to fight Kitava and suffer from his affliction that I just told you about, minus 30% permanent to all elemental resistances, which I personally absolutely hate. You will wrap up this act and sail back to Ariath and Lion's Eye Watch to start doing quests again. I would clear Twilight Strand with for 2 passive skill point refined points, but I would skip going to the Tidal Island to look for Bestal's manuscript once again, because it doesn't give anything particularly good. At level 48 you go through Mudflats, find the Eye of Conquest, well, you need to kill some mobs for it, and Nessa. to get kind of further part of the storyline and move forward. This might be the first area where you might start getting a feeling that you are a little squishy, or that your damage isn't overwhelmingly OP as it used to be, as it has felt before. It's okay to feel that way at this stage. I'm just helping acknowledge this for you so that you don't panic too early. Just take a note of that, and we'll be dealing with both of these issues later. Unlock Karui Fortress, proceed to Tukohama Keep, fight Tukohama, kill him for extra skill point from Tarkley. From there you will go through prison and you get to Chevron's tower. And guess what? You will kill her too, and her friend Brutus as well. You should be level 50 by now. So you will continue there towards the Valley of Fire Drinker, where you will find the Aberath. I don't even know what he is really. And you kill him, which should be easy enough, as your minions always do the hard work for you, while all you need to do is absolutely not stand in the fire. If you stand in the fire, you have only yourself to blame, my friend, and that doesn't just go to Path of Exile, it goes pretty much to any other game. Around level 57, going through Western Forest, then Riverways, I love Riverways, and then you turn off towards Wetlands, where you will find the spawning ground and kill Puppet Mistress for yet another skill point from Tarkley. Skill points are just showering from the sky, aren't they? Then you come back to Riverways, you proceed towards Southern Forest, then you will go through Merveil's Caverns, have a little chat with Nessa yet again, then you will clear the beacon, and it's all very, very linear there. I don't mind this zone, but it's super duper linear. You should arrive at the Brine King's Reef, around level 54, maybe 55, 54 it was for me, and fight the big boss crab there. This is probably the first hardish fight. I would say it's rather hard, maybe, for a casual and chilled leveler anyway. Stay on the move. Most important thing is stay on the move and avoid Nessa's spells from the sky. Boom, boom, those ones. As they can one-shot you at this stage. We don't have maxed out resistances just yet, so these spells will hurt. You're also not too fat yet to absorb it just with the amount of your health. Once that is done, you sail to Bridge Encampment, and that's what starts Act 7, my friends. So this is where I will, again, keeping it nice and chilled, nice and pointy, in the ballpark of 10-15 minutes for you, these little parts. This is where I'll wrap up this part of our leveling guide for our minions. And we have only 3 acts to go, and maybe early start of the end game. I will also explain to you in the next video, which will be the part 3 and final part of this leveling guide. Please give it a like if you liked this, if it helped you a little bit, because YouTube works very simply. If you like the video, it shows it to more people. It helps me, it helps bring more friendly players into our little casual club. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe for more videos so that you don't miss out any other additions from me, and I will be speaking to you next time.